Hello everybody and welcome to Year 9 Season 2 Operation New Blood of Rainbow Six Siege. This season is bringing us a remaster of the recruits, a return of an old night map, a really good reworked barbed wire, Solis and Fenrir nerfs, and more. Thanks to Ubisoft, I have played this season early, and I'm going to break down everything coming in this season. As always, I will have all of this timestamped if you would like to see a specific change or addition, but I highly recommend watching from start to finish so you get to see everything. So be sure to like the video, drop a comment as it does help with the algorithm, and without further ado, let's get into this. Right, so the major thing coming in Operation New Blood is the operator remasters of the recruits. Yes, the recruits have had an entire overhaul, and have now been separated into two operators, one for attack and one for defense. And as well as this, they have also received some new call signs. The attacker is called Striker and the defender is called Sentry. And both of their gadgets, or unique abilities shall I say, are the same. And that is being able to bring two secondary gadgets at the same time. Now, what makes this different from the old versions of Recruit is that there's no restriction on the pairings that you can make. So that means the attacker can bring EMP grenades and hard breach charges, and the defender can bring a nitro cell and impact grenades, or whatever combination you like. You just can't bring the same thing twice, so you can't bring a nitro cell in slot 1 and then a nitro cell in slot 2 as well. They have to be different, but you can have any combination you want as long as they're not the exact same gadget. And I'm going to look at them both individually in a second, but I'm going to focus on some stuff which they both share. So they are both 2 armor, 2 speed. They are both now full operator status, meaning that you can customize their headgears, uniforms, weapon skins, charms, anything that you can do with a normal operator, player cards, MVP animation, the whole shebang. And of course, they are now playable in the ranked playlist, and every playlist. They're just like any other operator now. And I will mention as well, when you load up this new season, you will have them both for free. They're not going to charge you since you already did own Recruit in the past. And if you do buy the battle pass, you get a operator ticket to get any other operator you want. And if you already have all the operators, you'll get R6 credits instead. Right, let's start by looking at my personal favorite out of the two, and that is the attacker called Striker. And I think she brings so much to the attacking team, and honestly, I think she's going to be one of the most strong attackers, and I'm going to explain why. Let's start by looking at her loadout, because her loadout packs a punch. So for starters, her first primary weapon is the M4 assault rifle. This is the assault rifle which Maverick has. If you're not aware, the M4 is one of the strongest assault rifles on the attacking team. It's got low recoil, packs a punch, and is overall just an amazing weapon to use. And trust me, if you enjoy fragging out, this is going to be a great option for you. It feels really nice. For her secondary primary weapon, she has the M249 LMG. This is the LMG which Capital has, a great LMG, but I definitely think the M4 stands out the most just because of how good a gun that is. And no, there is no ballistic shield. They could potentially add it in the future or even during the live test server, but as it currently stands, she does not have the ballistic shield. And yes, she has ACOGs on her weapons. Next up is her secondaries. Firstly, she has the 5.7 USG pistol. This is the one where all the FBI operators use, such as Ash. It's a great pistol. I'd say it's one of the better pistols in my opinion, so I think it's good that she got that. And her final secondary weapon is the ITA-12S pocket shotgun, the same one which Mira, Jackal, and Frost has. And once I go on to explain further how strong her secondary gadgets actually are, this shotgun becomes even stronger, and it makes this one of the strongest loadouts in the game in my opinion. Right, let's get into the secondary gadgets, which is their main ability. Of course, this is both for the attacker and defender. Now, this is officially called the Gadget Kit. And in terms of Striker's one, which is all the attacking secondary gadgets, there are some very strong combinations you can do. The first one, which will stand out to a lot of people, is the Impact EMP nade and the secondary hard breach charge. And this works exactly how you're thinking it will. You EMP the wall, and you can go straight into hard breaching. This technically makes Striker the first ever self-sufficient hard breacher in Rainbow Six Siege. And honestly, probably one of the best solo queue operators, if not the best now. And remember, this is on top of having a pocket shotgun, which you can use for soft destruction as well. That's pretty strong. But let's say you're playing a different role entirely. You already have a primary hard breacher. Okay, let's bring some flash grenades and grenades. That is 5 throwable projectiles in one single pocket. If someone's playing behind a half wall or a deployable shield, Striker can easily flash them and nade them at the same time. And with so many projectiles, they can also burn an ADS and do this as well. I'm genuinely not over-exaggerating when I say that Striker is extremely strong. I think she's going to be played in Pro League, and I'm deadly serious with that. And of course, you can do some other strats. If you want to go for a smoke plant, bring some smokes and some claymores, bring some flashes and hard breach charge. Or you can bring the breach charge for soft destruction and claymores to watch your flank. There's so much you can do with this. Right, let's jump over to the defense this time and take a look at Sentry. He has a pretty strong loadout as well. So for his primary weapons, he has the Commando 9 assault rifle. This is the assault rifle which Mozzie has. And I know a lot of you are going to ask this. No, he doesn't have Mozzie's reload animation, because that animation is more tied to Mozzie's charisma and him as a character rather than a weapon. It wouldn't make sense for a Rainbow recruit to start throwing his magazine around when the Rainbow recruit is trying to train for the team. He wants to be taken a bit more seriously. I think that was a nice addition personally. He also has the M870 shotgun as a primary. This is the same shotgun which Bandit and Jaeger have. Used to be a classic staple of recruit rushes back in the day. 2 strong weapons in their respective categories, but let's move over to the secondary weapons. He has the C75 auto machine pistol, the same one which Vigil has, Dokkaebi has. Pretty strong little machine pistol. This will be ideal for anyone who is running the M870 shotgun as a primary, because then you can rely on this for long range engagements. And his final secondary weapon is the Super Shorty, which is going to be more ideal if you run the Commando 9 as a primary. And yes, as I'm recording this, I am now just realizing that that is Mozzie's old loadout back when he launched. If any of you remember when Mozzie had the Super Shorty, drop a comment letting me know. But yeah, the Super Shorty is incredible for setting up sights, so this is a very strong addition to his kit. And just like the attacker, he has access to all of the defender's secondaries. Now, I'm going to be honest here, I do not think this Sentry is as strong as Striker. There is a lot of powerful combinations you can do. You can bring shield and barbed wire, and barbed wire got a little rework / buff, which I'll get into in a minute. Nitro cell and proximity alarm is quite fun, since when the proxy goes off, have a pre-placed nitro below, detonate it. That was really enjoyable to do. You can do bulletproof camera and observation blocker to, you know, sort of protect the bulletproof camera and everything. Or you can run nitro cell and impact grenades. Don't get me wrong, I do think Sentry is still very good. I just don't think he's as glaringly strong as Striker is. But I guess the joy of both of these operators is whenever Ubisoft add a new secondary gadget, which they most likely will soon, they do consistently release them over years, then that means that both of these operators get a buff. And that means that Sentry, for example, is one secondary gadget away from becoming potentially overpowered. But still a great operator and still a great addition to the defending team. And I will note he has no ACOG on his weapons, something I think maybe they should give him, considering I think he is a bit underpowered compared to his attacking counterpart. Right, let's next move over to the barbed wire change, because this took me completely by surprise, but honestly, it's quite a good change. Barbed wire now deals 5 HP of damage every tick when you're walking through it. If you stand still inside the barbed wire, it won't continue hurting you since you're not really grazing your feet through it anymore, you're standing stationary, but when you start moving again, it will then continue to damage you. This is definitely going to push people a little bit back from barbed wire and play a bit more smart rather than just running through it with not really much consequences. You can still destroy them at range. It doesn't do any damage when you hit it with your hand. So the same way you've always destroyed barbed wire, you can just do that and you'll be fine. I think this entire change is just kind of to make you break barbed wire more rather than just running through it whilst holding an angle and it not really doing much. Me, Titanium Rollo, and Pigeon started to do some testing with it and we couldn't really find a concrete answer. If you sort of stack them up a little bit, then sometimes they would deal like double damage, but we don't really have a full answer on that yet, so maybe we'll have to wait for more testing, but just keep that in mind. Right, let's jump over to the maps this season. Now, if you saw the roadmap, you know there's no new maps this season. There isn't any new maps this entire year. However, with this season being for the recruits who are Rainbow trainees, the maps, which are based on a Rainbow training facility, have had some changes, and they've even added one to the pool. So to start off with, Stadium Alpha, which was the first iteration of Stadium when the event first came out in 2020, has now been added to the casual and standard pool. And if you're not aware, standard also now has a filter where you can filter between ranked maps, casual maps, or every map. I know I'll be turning every map on, because that means we're going to get to play a bit more strategic on casual maps without having to play casual. And yes, they've added this to the pool. They've tweaked it a little bit, made it better. I actually think this is a good map. This is way better than Stadium Bravo ever was. I always thought Stadium Alpha was the best. And this map is a mixture of Old Hereford and Old Oregon. I genuinely think you guys are going to get a kick out of this map if you've never played it. I actually really enjoyed playing it in my playtesting. It brought back a lot of memories. And yeah, I've always thought Stadium Alpha was a really fun map. And as you can clearly see, the map is set at night. I imagine they've done this just to make it different from Stadium Bravo. Since they do take place in the same map, shall I say, because you're still in the same stadium, it's just the playable part is completely different layout. It's just to make it less confusing and make them more distinct. And honestly, I think the map looks really nice at night, and I just think it's really fun. Stadium Bravo has had some changes as well. They've gotten rid of a bunch of the bulletproof glass, so now there's just walls, so you're not going to have that same issue as before. There's still bulletproof glass on bits of these maps, but not to the extent as it was before. It's much more viable, shall I say. They've also changed some sites around, so like when you go in the main door, the server door isn't in front of you anymore, it's actually to your left in vents. They've changed VIP upstairs a little bit, moved some doors over. It's nothing crazy, but it's made the map more viable. It's still only in the casual mode, same with Stadium Alpha, or in the build I was playing, it was called Stadium 2020, whatever they decide to call it, the other Stadium map. But yeah, it's an improvement on Stadium Bravo. I think both of these maps are fine. I think they're okay. I think they're definitely enjoyable to play, and I'd rather have them in the pool than not being in the pool. But I really do enjoy Stadium Alpha. I definitely think that one is the stronger version, so I really hope you guys enjoy it as well. Right, let's get into the Solis and Fenrir nerf. We'll start off with Solis. Some of this you may already know since they did announce it at the year reveal, but there's also some other changes which I wasn't expecting. So to begin with, she can no longer use her gadget in the prep phase. It's on cooldown the entire prep phase, but the moment the prep phase is about to end, it becomes active and you can play Solis as you would usually play her. But that isn't the only nerf she got as well. The distance of her gadget has now been lowered, so now you have to be a bit more up close and personal with operators on their phones or claymores to see them, but there's still enough distance that you will see them before you get close to them. So she's still going to be very good in that aspect. They've also lowered the time on how long you can use her gadget. You can now only use it for 10 seconds instead of 20, and you'll also have to wait for her gadget to recharge fully now before activating it, rather than you being able to do it when it's like 25% charged. You have to wait until it's at 100% before you can then activate it again. And they've also removed her impact grenades and given her proximity alarms instead. A very big nerf to Solis. Right, next up we have Fenrir. So he has completely lost one of his dread mines. He now only has a maximum of 4, and he's also lost one of his activation codes, so he now only has 2. That means that Fenrir can now only have 2 dread mines active at one time. As well as this, his inactive dread mines, the one which are closed, they don't have a code active, they are no longer bulletproof and you can just shoot them or zap them. But all is not lost for you Fenrir players. They did change him a little bit to coincide with this nerf, but it actually sort of improves him overall. And that is basically he doesn't lose his codes anymore when a dread mine is destroyed. So he has 4 total dread mines, 2 can be active at one time. If those 2 get destroyed by the enemies, he gets those codes back and then can use them on the final 2. So although he has less overall utility than before and you can destroy dread mines easier, he also now has more opportunity to use his codes across the board. I think that's quite a good balance to Fenrir. Also, he did lose barbed wire, since barbed wire did get a little buff as well, so they felt that was too strong for him, and they've given him observation blockers instead. Overall, a very good balance of both of these operators in my opinion. I think they're both going to still be very useful and strong, but I think this is a much better position for both of them. There's a visual change when you're on cameras now to do with saturation and filters, which I really like. Depending on how saturated your camera view is, that determines how much control you have over it, and I'll explain that. So if you're on the camera and it looks very vibrant, there's a lot of colors, it just looks like your normal gameplay, that means you have full control over the camera. If it starts to look that the colors are a little bit washed out, it's a little bit desaturated, that means you have partial control of the camera. And if you're looking at a camera and it's complete black and white, that means that you have no control of this camera, you can only view through it, but someone else is controlling it. This is going to help you understand which cameras you currently have control of at each time, especially if your teammates operating them or the Dokkaebi on the board. I know in these clips I made Pigeon go echo Echo, and we were sort of playing around with I'm on control, and then Echo hops on, taking over control from me, so it goes black and white. It's actually a really good system, which I never thought of. There's a new accessibility option for stun grenades, and basically you can just turn them to dark instead of white. This is if you just don't want to be flashed in real life, because when your entire screen goes white, it does sometimes hurt your eyes as well. It grants no gameplay advantage. It's just if you don't really want that strain in your eyes of when you get flashbang, it changes to black instead of white. No gameplay changes, it's just for comfort of your eyes, and you can turn it on and off if you want. They also added an endless target training mode, which makes this feel like a proper warm-up now. Really enjoying how this mode is turning out to be. As well as this, with the AI Defender playlist, they added a few more defenders and new maps to play, but I really do like the endless target drill. I think a lot of you are really going to enjoy that as a warm-up. They've also added more audio option sliders in the audio section. These are pretty cool. Basically, you can just toggle more stuff rather than them being grouped. So like, rather than you just turning all the music down, you can turn menu music down or in-game music down. You can turn menu sound effects down. You can turn voiceovers down. You've been able to do that before, but there's more options now. So you've got minimal voiceovers, which is stuff such as being blinded or taking damage or pained breathing when down. You've got team focused, which is that plus enemies being spotted or traps being placed. You've got gameplay focus, which is all of that, but also including weapon reloading or device deployment. And then of course you have maximum, which is just the operators saying every voice line they always say. However, there is still no individual audio slider for each player in your lobby, which I definitely think is one of the things we should get. But since it does seem like they are sort of adding more audio options, hopefully we get that soon. Rainbow Six Marketplace is fully launching for every player this season. This is accessible via Ubisoft's website, not via in-game, but that means that anyone can do it. You can do it on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, everyone has access. Sell your skins, buy some skins. Just make sure you're using the same Ubisoft account you used to play the game. But a full launch is definitely nice, and it's a great system. They also revealed a new membership system as well, which is like a monthly thing you buy, and you get a bunch of exclusive cosmetics. You get battle passes from it. You get R6 credits. Quite a cool thing, just if you're more of a die-hard player, you want to put some more money into the game, you want more skins basically, but it's not anything forced. You're not getting anything other than cosmetics, battle passes, R6 credits. It's sort of like a different thing to the year pass, and it's just more for, I guess, die-hard players like myself and some of you out there who play the game more, buy a bunch of cosmetics. But it's just a purely optional membership if you just want a little bit more stuff. The weapon menu also has a little UI change. It has way more depth into each weapon, shows you the destruction, just gives you way more detail, and it's hopefully going to help you judge your weapon picks much better. Nice little change. Now, I've got this little section at the end here because this is stuff where I don't know if they're actually part of the season or it's just some bugs I had on the test server, but I will note shields felt like they had a slower ADS time. Yes, I am crying inside as a Monty main. Repelling felt slower. It kind of felt like the old repelling, so I'm leaning to more that this was just a bug on the build I played, and we still have the same new repelling system from last season in the game, so that's why I didn't make a big deal about it in this video. Ayana also felt like she had the same system as Solis, where she has to wait for her gadget to fully reload. So again, not making a big deal about these because I don't know if they're just test server bugs. They may be part of the season, but I didn't want to give them an entire section and just accidentally misinform people. Also, there's just something quite funny I wanted to share. There was a headgear for Sentry which was available, and it just made his head invisible, so we were playing around with that a little bit. That was just quite funny. You might have seen them in some of the clips I had, but yeah, there was a headless Sentry headgear. Of course, this was just a bug, but I thought it was quite fun to include because, you know, how often do you see this? But yeah, everyone, that is my video on Operation New Blood or Rainbow Six Siege. Once again, thank you so much to Ubisoft for allowing me to play this early. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all for watching my videos to give me opportunities to do that. It blows my mind, genuinely. I'm not going to get all sobby in this, but thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. Drop a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you do like Rainbow Six content, or myself, you know, I'll take either one of them. But yeah, have an incredible rest of your day, everyone. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.